Laura, calling us from Wisconsin. Welcome to the program.
Thank you for having me, Dr. Cloud.
Good to talk to you.
So I guess to start out with my question, I'm just wondering how to reframe my thought processes to go about dating and maybe just how to cope with the nature of dating easier. So I struggle with like depression and anxiety, and sometimes that feels like a lot to bring into a relationship, kind of baggage wise, I guess. And so I struggle with feeling like the person that I want to be with wouldn't want to be with me because of maybe I'm just not as productive when I'm feeling low, or just in general sometimes, or I'm not like the bubbly person, or I feel it's hard for me sometimes to connect with someone because of those things, because I feel like sometimes someone would leave, or because of maybe like my past experiences and baggage and things coming into a relationship.
You mean it's happened in the past that people broke up with you because you have depression and anxiety?
Maybe not necessarily for those reasons, but I think I get nervous for two reasons. Maybe one, because people have left me in the past and have immediately been with somebody else right away, or have cheated on me or things like that. And so I feel like part of me feels like not good enough, or I don't know. And so I have a hard time connecting to people. And that's recently come up in a relationship where I felt like I had a hard time. I liked the guy, and then I had a hard time kind of connecting to him because
you had a lot of negative stuff going on in your head. Yeah, tell me kind of, where is the depression and anxiety now? Are you being treated? Is it getting better? Are you seeing some progress? Is it interfering with functioning? Kind of, where are we on this as a real problem?
So I had been seeing a therapist for maybe like 6 months. I've been seeing a therapist on and off for the past maybe like 5 or 6 years. I was taking like medication for it. I stopped, and now doing like an herbal St. John's wort supplement, so that's helped. But I feel like
what were you taking, and why did you stop?
I was taking Lexapro, and then I stopped because I guess I don't know why. Well, it was kind of tricky. I had to go in and make an appointment with my doctor every month, and so it was tricky taking off work, and it just became too much of a task for me, I guess, to maintain that. And so I just had stuck with the therapy.
Did you notice a regression when you went off the meds? Did your symptoms increase?
At that time, no, but that was maybe a year ago and so I guess I hit another kind of low point last year around Christmas. And then I started seeing a therapist more consistently again, and it was helping. Yeah, it kind of it comes in waves. Sometimes I feel better, and other times, right now, I guess I'm feeling a little bit more low.
Okay, is your therapist suggesting that you get a medical evaluation for the meds?
He hasn't mentioned that recently. So I stopped like a month ago seeing my therapist, and I think I'm going to start seeing him again. But I know like other people in my life have suggested. I just get nervous about going on medication, I guess, and want to try and like fix things behaviorally. And
what makes you nervous about the medicine? Because here's why I ask. Go ahead. It's okay.
I'm nervous about it keeping me from feeling, I guess, just feeling flat and not either happy or sad just kind of in the middle and worried that it'll have long-term effects where it will be hard. I guess I don't know. Maybe my reasoning for not being on it aren't that strong.
Well, here's why I ask. If a good psychiatrist prescribed it, did it come from a psychiatrist?
um, my primary care doctor suggested that I go on it
Okay.
a
I
while ago,
would,
and I had started it.
did you have sleep problems, energy problems, concentration problems, libido problems, appetite disturbance, early morning awakening, any of that stuff?
While I was on it,
No,
or just in general?
no, just
Oh,
as part of the
sorry.
depression.
Yes.
Okay, well, those are, if you have
I.
that whole list, that's kind of, the metabolic cycles that many times are affected, biochemically, and that's why that class of medicines can be extremely helpful. Here's why I ask, and I would
Mhm.
want you, if you walked in my office and described what you were describing, you said you went off your medicine because it was hard to make the appointment work. That's not really a medical reason
Mhm.
for making a decision, right? That's not a clinical reason for
Yeah.
making a decision. It's kind of a, so if you're still struggling with it,
Yeah.
I would want you to go, I'd want you to go talk to a psychiatrist, maybe
Mhm.
past your primary care, because they really, they, this is what they do, right? They look at the titration of these symptom
Mhm.
pictures and this, that, and the other. And sometimes you're right with that class of medicines. Sometimes there is, some people do the one side effect that, I think is, you know, uh, what would be the right word? Um, there's different side effects. Most of them with the SSRIs are not that big a deal, I don't think, for the most part,
Mhm.
for the benefit they provide. But the flattening out can be one, and if that's a big thing to you, and you really don't need it, then that's fine. But if the
Mhm.
depression is coming back, and your sleep disturbance and energy level and your mood and some of the
Mhm.
anxiety that's secondary to it and concentration and
Mhm.
outlook, and if that's going down low again, I would at least want you to get evaluated.
Okay.
Okay. And uh
Mhm.
you know I just you know I just really believe that sometimes medicine is really needed and it's really helpful, and it's not, the kind of medicine you're talking about is not like taking tranquilizers where you get addicted and build tolerance and all
Yeah.
that. It's basically restore some chemistry.
Mhm.
So A, I would do that.
Mm.
B, to your other question
Okay.
though, my hunch would be, now if you've got this scenario going on with how you feel inside, my hunch would be that it's probably not just dating that you might make these anticipatory feelings about I'm not going to be good enough or somebody's not going to like me, or do you have that in other areas, that kind of
Mm.
negative pattern?
Definitely, yeah.
Yeah. So I would want you to separate the thinking style from the context of dating only, and see
Mhm.
it as, wait a minute, this really isn't about dating. This is one of my depressive thinking patterns that I have. And it's
Mhm.
really a well-known pattern of thinking that fits in with a depressive spectrum. And I would venture to say most people who struggle with depression are going to have elements of the kind of thinking that you talked about. And so I would want
Uh-huh.
you to address in therapy, you know what, I've really got to work on observing that automatic thinking and begin to change that, as well as working on some of the
Mhm.
deeper emotional struggles that wherever your depression came from. And and
Okay.
to the other part of your question, um,
Mhm.
Laura, in the right relationship and the right kind of guy, and if you're
Mhm.
taking ownership and responsibility for working through your depression and anxiety, which it sounds like you are, with the right kind of
Uh-huh.
guy, I think there are a lot of guys that would feel even closer to you,
Mhm.
because they understand, and sometimes your mood is
Yeah.
down and you're working on that. And I don't think that there's any
Mhm.
kind of anything in the universe that says good guys can't like somebody who struggle with depression and anxiety. So I would get that thought out of my
Yeah.
head and find the right one.
Mhm. Okay.
Does that sound possible?
Thank Yeah, definitely.
That
Just gonna take some some work.
take a little work. Also, the other question to ask, here's the other question to ask.
Mhm.
Um, I just had a knee replacement, so I was limping around
Mhm.
for quite a while. Um, I'm
Uh-huh.
playing golf. I'm playing golf again. All right, because now I can make
That's
that move
awesome.
and turn into my left knee, and it's strong enough to hold me up and not crack. But
Mhm.
right after surgery, the surgeon didn't want me doing that. Okay.
Yeah.
It may be, I
Mhm.
don't know where you are because I'm not your shrink, and we haven't gone into all the pieces of this, but you can talk about it with your psychologist. That sometimes there are seasons in life where maybe right now your knee's hurting a little too bad to play golf. I mean, it may be that you're in a season of let's
Mhm.
get this depression, anxiety kind of let's get on a little stronger ground, and then I'll worry about dating.
Mhm.
Maybe I don't know.
Mhm.
I don't know where you are. It's not that they can't coexist, but it may be sometimes there has to be a sequencing. One of my favorite verses is in Hebrews where it says, it's in chapter 12, I think, where it says, if uh, if you've got a limb that is injured, like you got a leg that's injured, it says make level paths for your feet so the limb that's injured won't be further thrown out of joint, but rather healed. And so sometimes if we've got an area, if we're hurting, we kind of want to get a lot of stress out of our lives and get well first. So that's something you and your therapist can
Mhm.
talk about. Is it time for you to be out there? And it may be time for you to be out there just practicing and not looking to get in a
Yeah.
relationship, but meeting 1,000 people.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah, that's a good way to think about it.
Yeah. You sound so easy
Okay.
to talk to. I wouldn't think that dating
Oh,
could be impossible, you know? I
yeah.
think,
I think I just get in my head a lot
uh,
and
yeah.
um yeah.
Well, sometimes it's much scarier in our own heads than it is out there in the real world, right?
Mhm.
So that's another part
Yeah.
of this to work on your therapy. I need to get out in the real engagement of people and life rather than stand back here thinking about what's happening out there, which isn't what's happening out there at all, because I'm creating an alternate reality that keeps me from engaging with what's happening out there. So that's all part of it. I would encourage you
Mhm.
to take a look at my book, Changes That Heal.
Mhm.
There's a lot of stuff in there that relates to the issues you're talking about, and maybe that'll be helpful to you. Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
All righty. Thanks for
I really
calling,
appreciate your
and good luck to
yeah.
you. And keep working on it. Depression, anxiety are things that people get over all the time. I've seen it a million times, and you can have a very, very, very fruitful, happy, and productive life as you work through these. And so that's my wish for you.